As the first qualified depth partner for Microsoft Lync's SDN API program, this video will take you through a brief tour of our Unified Communications Diagnostics platform. We'll explain how only Nectar can provide you with the insight and monitoring you need to proactively manage your entire Lync ecosystem. Imagine I have a Lync user complaining because he's experienced a number of bad calls over the past week. The first thing I'll do is enter his SIP URI or ID number and look at the previous week's history. With the DVR capability of the UC Diagnostics platform, I'm able to view all the calls the user made over the past week. I get a lot of information from this tab. I can view not only network loss, but jitter discard if there was any congestion on the call or a path change. I'm going to look at the worst call here. The best MOS score this call could have received was a 4.25, but the call measured 1.45. So I'm going to highlight this session and click on the Investigate button. What will come back is the quality of session record. This gives me several key pieces of information. Up top is the session summary, the time the call was placed, the duration, and the to and from IDs. It will also highlight in red if there was a problem with this call. As I continue to drill down, I can see the topology map of the call through the network. The red indicates there were problems in that area. We can also expand the content statistics, and these match up very nicely. When using the Microsoft Lync SDN API, you're not required to have probes in the network. However, for the purposes of bracketing and to be able to quickly isolate issues, we recommend putting our Service Visibility Analyzer near a voice gateway as traffic enters and leaves your data center. In this case, I have one here as it leaves my client routed network and heads out to the remote site prior to going into the carrier cloud. I can see that as the call began, it reported a MOS score of 4.13. Note where the A here matches up to the monitoring point above. I know this is a Lync call because there's an L at the endpoint. As well, I'm getting information from the endpoint, and that's highlighted in here B. The information is coming direct from the Lync API, and I can see this call experienced problems and dropped to a 1.5 MOS score with about 4,100 packets dropped. As the call returned to the originating source, I can see that it corrected itself, and the endpoint, while still degraded, wasn't nearly as bad as the receiving endpoint. Here, I see a MOS score of 3.14 and a few dropped packets, but the call did improve somewhat. Based on our knowledge of the path and our integration with the Lync SDN API, we can see here that the problem exists between DAO CE1 and DAO Core 1. We can see by the red triangle that this is where the priority queue usage alert took place. From here, we can dive into NetFlow, the topology view, or the QoS analysis. If we click on the QoS tab, what will come back is a query over the time frame we want to review. We'll look at the last hour. If we hover over the legend, we can see which apps are set in the priority queue versus non-priority. On this interface, critical data, video conferencing, Lync, and voice are set in the priority queue. Lync is the light green line on this graph. By hovering over any point, we can begin to see how many packets Lync was dropping at a peak on that particular interface. We can see here that at a peak, we were dropping over 368,000 packets overall on Lync during that particular time. That would give us some indication there was a QoS misconfiguration or usage of the application has grown, and we have not made adjustments to the router to accommodate that. If we zoom in on the bandwidth utilization and look at the same point where all the packets were being dropped, we'll see that even though Lync was engineered for 5%, it was trying to accommodate just under 30% of the traffic going through there. So you can see why congestion was experienced, and we know that we have an issue we need to address. This is one of the many ways that you can leverage the UC Diagnostics platform to gain information that would not otherwise be available and perform proactive troubleshooting with problem resolution. This kind of information is not available anywhere else. Without the platform and our integration with Lync's SDN API, you would not have the unique insight that expedites the identification, isolation, and remediation of issues users experience with Lync and other UC environments. Through Nectar's patented technology and our depth partner integration with Microsoft's Lync SDN API, our Unified Communications Diagnostics platform will help you eliminate finger pointing and start pinpointing performance issues on your Unified Communications network. Nectar, because every conversation matters.